Simple, baby.
My kids just saw that. I mean, they're scarred for life. They just saw two women jump their dad in his own house, in his room, in my room. It's sad.
Doing trials here in Atlanta on May the 19th and 20th for Truth North and South. So we're doing some huge things in the community. Then ultimately, I'm going to open up a school here.
The Sanders crew has been all over the headlines lately, especially with that NFL draft spotlight shining on Sanders. But now, Deion Sanders is pulling back the curtain again, spilling tea on how his ex-wife, Pilar Sanders, allegedly tried to tear him down. And this ain't just gossip. There's proof, there's body language, and a whole messy trail of drama that's been brewing for years. So, let's talk about that super awkward moment at the draft. Pilar walked in, and the energy completely flipped. 1 second, it's all hype and celebration, and the next, straight up tension you could feel through the screen. And that look Deion shot her, please, it wasn't no friendly, oh, look who's here vibe. It was more like, what is she doing in my house right now? Wild. We gotta break this down, because the drama runs way deeper than most people even know. Everything was smooth at first. Deion was vibing, soaking up the big moment. But the second Pilar stepped in, boom, his whole body language switched up instantly. You could see the shift. Deion went from chill to seriously uncomfortable in a heartbeat. And get this, his daughter had to lean over and start rubbing his shoulders like she was trying to calm him down before it turned into a whole scene. That wasn't just some random family moment, no way. That was deep, unresolved tension walking right into the room and shaking the whole vibe up. And let's be real, it's definitely not the first time we've seen Deion caught up in this kind of mess either. On senior night, another huge milestone for the boys, Deion straight up vanished. The moment Pilar showed up, he was out of there. Didn't even stick around to fake it. Later, Deion himself joked about it, making it clear that, yep, he definitely dipped on purpose to avoid crossing paths with her. No shame in his game. So when folks try to act like it's just two co-parents showing up to support their kids, nah. Reva's not falling for that. And honestly, neither are we. The real question here is, why is Pilar suddenly popping up now? Out of nowhere, she's showing up at these big moments, all smiles, posing for pics like she's been part of this tight-knit football fam the whole time. But we know better. Not too long ago, she was doing the exact opposite. And I'm not just talking about petty shade or some heated arguments. Nope, I'm talking about that wild situation where she allegedly ran up on Deion at his own house and brought her crew with her. And to make it worse, the kids were there.
Those are beautiful floors.
Yep, the boys saw it all go down. That's not just drama, that's deep emotional damage right there. That's the kind of thing that sticks with you forever. Those are the moments that turn into core memories, no matter how much you try to move past it. It got so bad that the cops had to step in. But here's the twist. Even though Deion made the call, Pilar's the one who ended up getting hauled off in April 2012. Yep, she was booked for assault. Family violence style. Deion caught a little misdemeanor too, but honestly, his charge was nothing compared to what Pilar was facing. And we all know once the law steps into family business like that, things are never the same again. Now just think about it. She had to know that dragging the cops into their home could wreck everything. We're talking reputation on the line, their money at risk, and worst of all, it could have led to their kids getting taken away. That's serious. Nobody plays around when there are family violence charges flying, especially with kids in the house. It's not a game.
My kids just saw that. I mean, they're scarred for life. They just saw two women jump their dad in his own house, in his room.
One commenter hit the nail on the head saying, "Women don't realize once you call the cops on us or get them involved, there's no coming back from that no matter what." And that's facts. Pilar wasn't just hurting Deion. She was risking everything they built. And let's be real, that kind of betrayal, you don't just bounce back from that overnight. Fast forward, and things got even messier during the custody battle. Deion ended up winning full custody of the boys, while Pilar only secured joint custody of their daughter. But what really had people raising their eyebrows? The way Pilar was talking, the way she was moving. something just wasn't adding up. At some point, it stopped looking like Pilar was all about being in her kids' lives and started feeling way more like she was just out to hurt Deion. A lot of fans think she was playing a sneaky game, trying to turn the boys against him, planting little seeds of doubt, making Deion look like the bad guy. But why? For sympathy? For clout? Or maybe to cash in on a bigger check? People weren't shy about calling it out either. Some straight up said, "This ain't about the kids. This is about control, child support, and keeping that public image polished." Whew! And here's where it got real messy. The boys, they're grown now, like fully grown. We're talking men with careers, platforms, and voices of their own. These ain't little kids or even high schoolers anymore. So fans started asking, why is Pilar still showing up like it's some kind of family reunion? A lot of people weren't feeling her popping up at the draft at all. One comment went viral. "She's the OG of fumbling the bag." Another person said, "Deion might love his sons, but they gotta respect his space." And someone else didn't hold back at all.
Same test, too.
A eater!
3 years ago, they did that. That's that same tat. And my boy in that bitch putting her to work. Ain't no way.
Online because I'm tired emotionally and mentally of seeing people try to make me out to be a person that I am not. But with a testimony without a test of faith, so.
Draft day's over. There's zero reason for her to ever step foot in Deion's house again. These men are grown, and let's not act like the internet forgot what she did. One more fan kept it blunt, reminding everybody she falsely accused that man of physical harm and tried to destroy his name and career. Honestly, I'd feel the exact same. Can you really blame Deion for being ice cold when Pilar walked in? For looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor? That whole vibe screamed, "Get her out of here!" But now comes the wildest twist nobody saw coming. Word on the internet is, Pilar might be trying to come back for that old prenup. Yep, the same one that had everybody buzzing during the divorce might be up for grabs again. Whispers are flying that she thinks the whole agreement might not even be valid anymore, or that she can find a way to get it thrown out. Let's rewind for the folks who forgot how that played out. That prenup was signed on April 19th, 1999, just 2 days before Deion and Pilar tied the knot. From the jump, it was a hot-button issue when they split. The deal reportedly gave her $100,000 for each year they were married, capped at $1 million. Sounds all right, sure, but that was it. No lifetime support, no big payout, just a set amount, then she was supposed to move on. But guess what? Pilar wasn't having it. She tried to fight the prenup in court, claiming she never truly agreed to it. The judge shut it all the way down, said she signed it willingly and couldn't undo it. Case closed, or so we thought. Now that Deion's shining in the spotlight again, that money's probably looking real good to her. And let's be honest, her popping up at all these high-profile events after years of silence? Yeah, that timing's a little too perfect. And let's be real, Deion knows exactly how messy this game can get. He's been through it all. That's why he didn't waste any time warning his player, Travis Hunter, to lock down that prenup. Yep, same deal. Travis was going viral for all the wrong reasons when some old videos popped up showing his fiancée wildin' out. And not in a good way. Deion saw the buzz and slid in with a comment that sounded like a joke, but wasn't really a joke. He told Travis, "Son, I hope you got a prenup. That's a coach who's seen it all."
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
He knows how fast love stories can turn into courtroom dramas, how hugs can flip into subpoenas real quick. Deion doesn't play around when it comes to protecting your bag. And speaking of keeping an eye on the money, Deion's daughter, Deion Sanders, has never held back her feelings about Pilar. From the start, she's been loud and clear. She's not a fan, and she let the whole world know. She dragged Pilar on Twitter, calling her a straight-up gold digger, and yeah, she used those exact words. The rant had the timeline on fire. Deion blasted Pilar for chasing clout, being money-hungry, and putting on a fake front. But the real bombshell? Deion claimed Pilar was cheating on Deion while they were married. Whew, that's when things went nuclear. Pilar didn't take that heat lightly. She fired right back the only way she knew how, by slapping them with a lawsuit. And not just any lawsuit. We're talking a $200 million defamation case against both Deion and Deion. You can't make this stuff up. She really came swinging at the whole family with that lawsuit. Pilar didn't hold back. She hit them with defamation, fraud, slander, libel, civil conspiracy, emotional distress. Basically, she threw the entire legal dictionary at Deion and Deion. She claimed they'd been dragging her name through the mud for years, and Deion's tweet? That was her breaking point. But Deion wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back in court with a response that had the internet shook. In legal docs, Deion and his team basically said Pilar had no case because, get this, everything Deion said was true. Yep, you read that right. They argued that any statements made by any defendants were factual, didn't create any false impression, and definitely weren't malicious. Whew. And honestly, who's really arguing with that? Pilar's rep was already messy after years of public drama, cheating rumors, police reports, ugly custody battles, and now lawsuits against her kid's father and his daughter. The streets weren't even shocked anymore. They were just exhausted watching it all play out. And speaking of messy, the Sanders family drama just keeps heating up.
Now that the dust has settled, are you happy with how things turned out?
God bless you, man. You know how good God is?
I know, God is good.
We already know Shiloh and Shadur are in the spotlight, doing big things in college football and now making waves in the NFL. But another Sanders son has been catching attention for all the wrong reasons. Deion Sanders Jr. Here's the word. Rumors started swirling that Deion Jr. might have laid hands on his girlfriend. Details are real murky, but enough whispers popped up online that folks started paying attention. One comment really hit hard, saying, "Unfortunately, because of his father's fame and money, it'll be tough getting him convicted." She honestly should have kept this off social media and taken it straight to Gloria Allred or some other high-profile lawyer. And let's not forget, Pilar's not even Deion Jr.'s biological mom. But still, all that drama, chaos, and lawsuit energy, yeah, it definitely rubbed off. That's why people out here are saying it's giving major apple don't fall far from the tree vibes, even though in this case, the tree and apple aren't even blood related. And while Pilar was busy throwing $200 million lawsuits around like confetti, don't get it twisted. Deion Sanders wasn't just sitting back sipping tea. Nah, he clapped back with a lawsuit of his own. Deion tried to sue Pilar for $3 million, accusing her of defamation, basically saying all those wild claims she made online, especially the physical harm accusations, damaged his name and cost him serious money. But here's the plot twist. A Texas appeals court shut that down. They tossed out Deion's case, saying he didn't prove he actually lost any money because of her messy social media posts. So yep, another legal L in this never-ending courtroom saga. Honestly, at this point, they might as well rename the whole family the Sues, because everybody is suing everybody. And now that Deion's sons are blowing up with that NFL buzz, of course, people are putting two and two together and seeing dollar signs. Pilar's popping up, looking real invested all of a sudden, like NFL draft season just magically turned into money season. And who can blame folks for being suspicious? She already went through that $1 million divorce payout. So her showing up like it's a family reunion? Yeah, people are out here saying, "Sis came back for round 2. All right, let's pause for a sec and get real, because the double standard here is loud and clear. Imagine if a man had pulled what Pilar allegedly did, gold digging, cheating, tossing out a $200 million lawsuit after getting called out, and then creeping back around, trying to cash in once the kids hit it big. Social media would have dragged him forever. The court of public opinion would have canceled him without hesitation. But because it's a woman, some folks are still out here playing both sides. One commenter nailed it, saying, "If Pilar had raised those boys by herself, they never would have made it to the NFL, period." And honestly, facts. Deion was the one grinding, putting in the coaching, the resources, the exposure. All of it came from his hustle. Now the boys are winning, and suddenly Pilar's front and center, like she's been part of the whole ride. Let's be real, Deion Sanders has zero love left for Pilar, and after everything we've just unpacked, can you even blame him? But now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Pilar really had a plan to mess up Deion's life and hurt their sons emotionally or financially? Was Deion wrong for telling Travis Hunter to lock down a prenup after all he's been through? And do you think Pilar's trying to cash in now that Shadar and Shiloh are NFL bound? Let me know what you think. And hey, if you're loving all this drama, don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this video with your crew so you never miss another wild celeb saga. If you've made it this far, click that next video right now. Trust me, it's even juicier. See you in the next one.